we got to talk more about the game. Victor Oladipo had 32 points on 6 of 9 shooting from 3. And afterward, Vic was asked about the comment. Well, yeah, let's get back to it. Cleveland owner Dan Gilbert made after the Pacers acquired Vic from OKC in exchange for Paul George. Now, Dan, as you may remember, said, quote, "Indy could have done better than it did." And that is, of course, Dan being upset the Pacers didn't trade Paul George to him. Here is what Victor said when asked about it after Game 1. "You could say it added fuel to the fire, but that was so long ago. It came up recently, obviously, because we're playing the Cavs in the series. But yeah," he said, "I'm aware of what he said."
So let me tell you, this is something that Nate McMillan did right off the bat as soon as they knew they had the Cavs. He started playing this angle. Nobody believes in us. They didn't even think this was a good enough trade. They thought you were a bad team. This is, I mean, Nate said he didn't use bulletin board material, but this is what has been their stuff the entire year, is that nobody believes in us. And to be honest with you, Dan Gilbert was not alone in feeling that way. Most of the league felt that way. There were probably people in the Pacers organization who felt like this is the best we could do. Victor Oladipo has been a wonderful surprise for everybody. I knew he was a good defensive player. I knew that he had, great offensive talent. I was at a game one time where he scored 50. I certainly knew that. I did not know that Victor Oladipo was such a tremendous leader as he's shown this season. And his leadership yesterday and the way he approached the game really was very valuable for sure. And I don't think anybody, including Dan Gilbert, knew that was going to be the case.
Scotty, can you explain to us as a player, because we all hear you guys say, "Oh, I'm motivated anyway. It's a playoff game." But what is it when you feel doubted in the way that Vic did, even by the team's owner from the other team?
Well, as a player, it's something that you embrace because you like when people put you down and belittle your style of play in your game. So for this kid, Oladipo spent a lot of time this summer. He worked out with a guy that works out with Kyrie, Michael Lancaster, who has tremendously took his game to another level. I mean, he basically was playing all-star basketball this season, all season long, just because his confidence was built over the summer. So what we're seeing really is the work that this young man put in over the summer. Watch last season, watching Westbrook play. He learned from that, and now we're just seeing him put it out on the court. And it's great to see his leadership go to another team and be able to just raise the bar.
And as a record keeper, Rachel, there's a lot of people who have a lot of different stories about what happened with the Cavs trade. They tried 2 different times to get Paul George. What the Pacers wanted was Kyrie Irving. And if the Cavs had been willing to trade straight up Kyrie Irving for straight up Paul George, that deal would have got done. But that trade was never on the table, and as a result, it ultimately never got done.
See, I like that deal more than the deal they made. I know Paul George's contract would have been up at the end of the summer, but, Oklahoma City's whole theory was, hey, you give me a year of Paul George playing with Russell Westbrook and he's going to want to stay. Cleveland, I would think, could take the same gamble. You give me a whole year of Paul George and LeBron playing together, then maybe they both want to stay.
Right, and I mean, I think Indiana is thrilled with the way it worked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, there was a time where they wanted Kyrie Irving, and they asked for it multiple times. So it's fascinating the way things work out with that whole thing.
You know what I liked yesterday, by the way? Victor Oladipo played lights out. Paul George played lights out, and everyone can say, hey, both of these guys can thrive in their new environments without somebody having to suffer.
both teams.
Right. One guy doesn't have to fail for the other guy to have to succeed. Like seeing that.